Meghan Markle's failed plan to bag a billionaire as her marriage to Prince Harry becomes more unhappy by the day.
Meghan Markle is truly one of the most dangerous public figures on the world stage at the moment. She needs to be...
Dubai International, February 4th, 2026 Airport. Meghan Markle ascended from her pure luxury is anticipated from the private aircraft. Crimson carpets, glaring cameras, and the royal family, she continues to maintain her conviction that she welcomes style merits. She was prepared for a power struggle. Meetings with opulence, conducted in secret for 1 week brand executives, quiet sit-downs with media bosses, and even a private supper with big money investors from the golf community. Everything was set flawlessly around her Grand March campaign debut. But conditions took a shocking turn quickly. Just minutes after impact, everything flipped. Border officers halted her on the spot, escorted her to a private appointment chamber, and questioned her behind closed doors. No shouting, no arrests. Yet the outcome was harsh. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, was denied access to the United Arab Emirates. That's correct, denied, declined, and sent right back on the same aircraft she came in on. Now, here's the part that left everyone's jaws on the floor. Instead of extending out to the US Embassy, her own country's lifeline, Meghan went directly to the British royal family. She reportedly asked for diplomatic support, claiming her connection as Prince Harry's wife and as the mother of 2 royal offspring. And just think about that for a second. The same woman who publicly called out the royals for being frigid, cruel, and racist. The same one who spewed every secret she could discover was suddenly begging for their assistance. But the answer she received, it wasn't just a polite rejection. It was a tremendous slam. What came next wasn't just a no. It was a statement so powerful it sent astonishment waves around the globe. February 5th, 2026, Buckingham Palace erupted in headlines. One frigid statement, just 17 words, lengthy sent shock waves across the globe. And this time it didn't emanate from some palace insider or vague regal leak. No, it came directly, officially, and mercilessly from Prince William himself. His words struck like royal thunder. The British royal family will not provide diplomatic sponsorship for Meghan Markle. She no longer represents the monarchy in any form, nor is she authorized to invoke our identity for private endeavors. Let that settle in. This wasn't a courteous "we'll review it" or a calm "we wish her well." No, this was a public execution of Meghan's royal relations, carried out by the future monarch of England himself. For the first time in contemporary royal history, a senior royal didn't just distance themselves. He utterly disowned a former family member straight out in the open for the entire globe to see. And it didn't end there. Things got even colder. The statement went on. Her Grace's current activities, travels, and affiliations are not coordinated with nor endorsed by the royal household. The United Kingdom's diplomatic channels remain governed by Her Majesty's administration and respective consular authorities, not by spousal entitlement or media status. Those last sentences, brutal terms like spousal entitlement and media status, might sound formal, but everyone knew precisely what they meant. They were daggers steeped in diplomacy. William was drawing a distinct line in regal gold. Meghan's marriage to Harry means nothing here. Her Hollywood renown useless. Her Duchess title lifeless weight. So, what went down in Dubai that prompted this international royal lockout? How did one of the wealthiest, most image-obsessed cities on Earth wind up slamming its golden gates close on Meghan Markle? Something big plainly went wrong. And it wasn't just poor timing. So, what precisely triggered this shocking royal rejection? What really went down at Dubai Airport? According to high-level UAE border insiders and diplomatic observers, Meghan didn't tumble in discreetly at all. She arrived in Dubai on a commercial first-class flight, expecting, as sources close to her team say, a gentle landing, VIP-style handling, no queries asked, and a perfectly polished start to a significant luxury partnership linked to golf brands and elite sponsors. She came outfitted to impress, designer attire, flawless glam, and a tiny but prepped entourage that had one clear instruction: stay silent and remain classy. Everything was set for a low-key, high-stakes business expedition that would maintain her brand shiny and scandal-free. But that smooth approach she planned, it evaporated quickly. The moment she stepped through immigration, things took an unexpected turn. UAE officers drew her aside for what they described as routine inquiries, then directed her into a private apartment for a standard review. Her passport was temporarily held. No yelling, no harsh handling, but the tension in that room was unmistakable. The message was plain and cold. You are not welcome here at this time. Within the hour, Meghan was discreetly escorted back through the terminal and deposited on the next aircraft out. No arrest, no official statement, and certainly no red carpet departure. The UAE authorities never explained why. And under Article 11 of the UAE Federal Statute on Entry and Residence, they don't have to. Border control there has unlimited power to deny entry without giving a specific reason or offering any allure. But here's where things really erupt. Meghan didn't go down quietly. Multiple insiders stated that as she was being escorted out, she attempted to invoke royal diplomatic privilege. That's correct. She allegedly dropped her royal connections at the border, expecting they'd open the gates. But this time, those regal connections didn't just fail her. They backfired. Can you fathom the nerve of that move? This is the same woman who sat in front of Oprah telling the world how frigid and unsupportive the royal family was. The same one who said she was suppressed, controlled, and left unprotected. Who packed up and fled the UK for independence and independence. And now abruptly, when things flare up in Dubai, she's dialing the palace for assistance. The irony is unbelievable. According to officials within the UAE's Foreign Affairs network, Meghan didn't just ask respectfully. She made her case to border officials like she was still royal property. She reportedly argued that she merited diplomatic consideration for 3 reasons. First, she's still legally married to Prince Harry, a member of the regal bloodline. Second, she's the mother of 2 children recognized as Prince and Princess under Queen Elizabeth II's legacy decrees. And third, she was presumably on a strict schedule to return to California for Archie and Lilith's spring semester registration. Now, that last remark, that's where things get real intriguing, because sources claim those institutions' registrations have previously been linked to jurisdictional issues involving California's Child Protective Services. Why would school enrollment ever prompt something like that? What's really been going on behind those securely guarded Monteo gates? It's a query that's got people whispering and quick. But back to Dubai, Meghan's allure didn't just vanish into paperwork. It was purportedly forwarded directly to the royal household for official verification. And that's when the palace lowered the hammer. Buckingham Palace didn't dispatch a soft, "We'll look into it," or a diplomatic brush off. No, they sent a direct, frigid rejection. The message was sharp, simple, and definitive. She was on her own. Now, let's pass this down because what just occurred was massive. The palace's answer wasn't a maybe, not even a mild. "We'll check with the consulate." It was a flat-out no. Prince William's follow-up message to UAE officials was even sharper, almost surgical in tone. He reportedly said, "The matter of Meghan Markle's current travels is one for the appropriate consular authorities. We will not intercede." Can you believe that? The future monarch of England basically informed a foreign government. She's not our issue anymore. No protection, no shielding, no support. Meghan was officially on her own. And just when everyone believed the royal response couldn't get cooler, Princess Anne stepped in and delivered the final blow. If William's remarks slammed the regal door shut, Anne's remark was the sound of every lock clicking into position. Hours after his declaration, the Princess Royal, the family's no-nonsense enforcer legendary for her zero-tolerance attitude, lowered her own message directly to Commonwealth officials and diplomatic associates. It read, "It must be understood that Meghan Markle and her spouse do not act on behalf of the Crown, the monarchy, nor the United Kingdom. Any affiliations drawn between their actions and the institution are entirely speculative and legally unsubstantiated." Ruthless. But she didn't stop there. She stepped down, warning against any use of regal titles for business, product promotions, media ventures, or international dealings that even suggested at royal connections. That wasn't just a polite clarification. That was a preemptive strike. A royal warning shot launched across every border, making it obvious Meghan's royal privileges were done, dusted, and deceased. The message to the world: she's not speaking for the monarch, she's selling for herself. And here's the true twist. This Dubai disaster isn't just some arbitrary scandal. It's the public eruption of something that's been cracking behind the scenes for months. The Montecito dream life. It's beginning to appear more like a collapsing empire. One built on glamour, influence, and connections that are abruptly slipping away. Now, here's what Meghan really doesn't want the world to know. The deportation. Overnight, a spokesperson for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, saying the couple is being forced out of their Windsor residence. Telling NBC News the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have been requested to vacate their residence. Sources close to the proprietors of Meghan and Harry's Montecito mansion eventually confirmed the rumors that had been circulating for months. The couple didn't depart their luxury home by choice. They were forced out. After several delayed rent payments, alleged unapproved renovations to the property, and a furious dispute over unpaid back taxes, items reached the breaking point. On January 14, 2026, the royal exiles were officially removed from the estate. A tranquil court filing interred in Santa Barbara County records explains the story clearly. The final legal note reads, "Non-renewal of private lease due to conflict with contractual use." Translation: the proprietor had enough. The eviction was done promptly, silently, and with zero fanfare. A far departure from the Hollywood sparkle and Oprah-era glamour that once surrounded their Montecito existence. But that's just the start, because their business empire was disintegrating, too. Let's speak about the Spotify split. The couple's once hyped $25 million agreement, celebrated as a new start for their independent voices, collapsed by the end of 2025. The reason, straightforward: low output, inadequate engagement, and constant creative control drama. In total, they delivered one underperforming podcast season. That's it. One season from a $25 million contract. Even Spotify executives couldn't spin that into success. Then came the Netflix catastrophe. What was once a $100 million mega contract promising documentaries, features, and global projects has now contracted into a loose holding agreement. Netflix executives say the company grew weary of low viewership, behind-the-scenes tension, and the growing brand risk that followed with the Sussex appellation. By January 2026, the streaming giant discreetly let their development contract expire. No renewal, no new shows, no second opportunities. In plain terms, the golden goose ceased laying and Netflix ceased pretending to care. What used to be a billion-dollar royal fantasy is now unraveling quickly. Deals collapsing, doors shutting, and the once glamorous Montecito fantasy turning into a full-blown PR catastrophe. Now, let's delve into the Arch investigation. The scandal that's rattling the very foundation of Meghan's post-royal dominion. The Arch Foundation, once the dazzling symbol of her global ambitions, is now under dual investigation in both the US and the UK. Authorities are reportedly probing allegations of misused funds, inaccurate tax filings, and even improper employee severance agreements. Former staff members aren't remaining silent either. Several ex-employees have filed civil lawsuits claiming unlawful termination and unpaid compensation. But that's not all. US federal investigators are also investigating into false representations in partnership contracts linked to Meghan's commercial well-being ventures. See the pattern here? This isn't poor luck or messy management. This appears like a chain reaction of collapse. Every venture Meghan has touched since stepping away from the royal family seems to be coming apart. One scandal after another. And then comes the Tyler Perry treason. The twist nobody saw coming. Remember, this is the same Tyler Perry who unveiled his $18 million Beverly Hills mansion to Meghan and Harry when they first escaped the UK. He gave them a home, protection, and support when the world turned its back. But now, Perry has reportedly filed claims claiming he was manipulated into transmitting money under false pretenses. That's correct. The man who once labeled them family is now accusing them of deception. Just consider about that for a second. What does it take to lose someone that loyal? How terrible do items have to get for a friend that generous, one who literally handed them shelter, to transform into a legal rival? The fallout is devastating, and it's only getting worse. And now, as Dubai's decision captures global headlines, insiders are pointing to what's being dubbed the 4-point risk assessment. The behind-the-scenes rationale that explains why UAE officials denied Meghan entry. Under Emirati immigration legislation, border officers have complete discretion to deny access. But make no mistake, this wasn't random. Something significant was behind that no registration stamp. According to multiple UAE government advisors who spoke off the record, Dubai's immigration team didn't just create a random contact. They followed a strict 4-point risk assessment before deciding to deny Meghan access. And the shocking part, she examined every single box. The first risk factor was linked to ongoing legal investigations. Meghan is currently under active surveillance in both the US and the UK over unethical charitable reporting through the Archwell Foundation, including alleged misrepresentation of donations and disputed money transactions involving Tyler Perry and other affluent donors. Thanks to international tax treaties, even the appearance of financial irregularities can effectively flag a traveler for entry denial. No criminal allegations required. The second risk factor was all about public image volatility. Meghan's global reputation as a media juggernaut, or as some term her, a media disruptor, worked against her this time. Officials cited her history of orchestrating significant press spectacles, altering timelines to control narratives, and what internal reports characterized as victim-entered PR manipulation, especially referencing her high-profile miscarriage anecdote and the startling Oprah interview. One Gulf media advisor summed it up precisely. This isn't about her truth, it's about our stability. And then came the third risk factor, employer and personnel conflicts. Former Archewell employees have reportedly testified about precipitous firings, unpaid severance, and disruptive work conditions that allegedly arrived directly from Meghan's own leadership style. Those testimonies depicted a picture of a toxic workplace full of duress and inconsistency. Now, here's where it gets serious. The UAE is established on values of honor, hierarchy, and confidence. Leadership there isn't just about status. It's about integrity and reverence. And when Emirati officials saw a pattern that contrasted with their social and professional norms, the response was automatic. Entry denied. Meghan's reputation wasn't just questioned, it was considered a risk. And then came the fourth and final risk factor, the one that sealed Meghan's fate entirely. UAE immigration cited unlawful entry justification. According to officials, Meghan didn't apply under the relevant media or business visa categories and neglected to disclose her scheduled meetings with high-end luxury brand representatives and digital production crews. Insiders claim she was quietly preparing soft launch footage for an upcoming endeavor. But on paper, she claimed her visit was for personal family planning. For Emirati authorities, that appeared like a deliberate misrepresentation. And here's where things get even more explosive. The palace warning. According to a prominent Gulf advisor with close royal relationships, UAE officials had already received private messages from British diplomatic channels before Meghan even touched down. Buckingham Palace didn't outright say, deny her entry, but they made their position unmistakably obvious. No royal support, no diplomatic cover, no endorsement whatsoever. That silent message from London was enough to induce a chill through the Emirati government. One advisor summed it up brilliantly. If her own family won't abide by her, why should we? Those words reverberated through every level of the UAE's diplomatic hierarchy. And it didn't stop there. Internal memos later disclosed that palace representatives had been in contact with the UAE's Ministry of Foreign Affairs as early as February 2nd, 2 complete days before Meghan's arrival. The communication, purportedly signed off by Prince William himself, made one thing absolutely obvious. Meghan should not be regarded as a diplomatic figure in any fashion, regardless of her royal title or surname. William, who's been standing up as a quasi-minister for global royal relations during King Charles's ongoing health issues, personally authorized the wording of the document. The memo reportedly stated, "The imperial household formally distances itself from the private actions and intentions of the Duchess of Sussex. Her activities are not aligned with Crown objectives." In ordinary English, the palace didn't just refuse to assist Meghan. They preemptively barred her path. They made sure every diplomatic door in Dubai was shut before she even landed. It was a royal scorched earth act, one that left Meghan utterly isolated and exposed with not a single ally in sight. This woman is going to keep attempting to get elevated with the next man, because that's what she wants, because Harry at this juncture doesn't even have enough money for her. Harry, according to those closest to him, is profoundly shaken by how far things have deteriorated. Friends say he's worried that his children are growing up in the same kind of media pandemonium that haunted his own upbringing. Except this time there's no palace, no protocol, no protection. He's reportedly informed confidants that he fears Archie and Libet will one day resent him. Not just for the incessant spotlight, but for the life he's built around it. The opportunities he's sealed off, the family bonds he's burned, the bridges that can never be rebuilt. It's all weighing heavily on him. Meanwhile, Meghan seems to be seeing their offspring through an wholly different lens, one that's more strategic than emotive. Insiders claim she's begun treating Archie and Liette as central figures in her brand, not just as her offspring. One former staffer even described overhearing conversations about which photographs of the children would attract the most engagement, which milestones could be marketed, and how their royal titles might enable future business entrances. If those accounts are true, they hint to something disconcerting. A kind of transactional motherhood where image management outweighs privacy and publicity margins out protection. It depicts a picture of two parents pulling in wholly opposite directions. One desperate to conceal his kids from renown, the other seemingly attempting to shape it. And beyond the financial chaos, the litigation, and the diplomatic disasters, there's a deeper human calamity unfolding. Isolation. Meghan Markle is now more shut off than she's ever been. More than when she departed the palace, more than during the tabloid wars, more than at any moment since she married into aristocracy. Her once glittering circle of Hollywood buddies has faded away. Her family ties persist shattered beyond any evidence of healing. The professional connections that once fueled her brand have dissipated. And now even the international privileged who once saw her as a daring modern trailblazer have turned their backs. What's left is a woman surrounded by silence. A name that once commanded global fascination, now met with diplomatic distance and media fatigue. Meghan isn't just losing influence. She's losing allies. This saga isn't just about Dubai. It's about a pattern of behavior that's ultimately caught up with Meghan. You can only shout injustice so many times before people cease listening. You can only play the victim for so long before the world begins wondering if maybe, just maybe, you're not the perpetrator at all. You can only transform sympathy into a business model for so long before everyone begins seeing through the act. And now that time has arrived. The curtain's been drawn back, and the audience isn't applauding anymore. The true sorrow in all this, Harry. He's become the casualty. Collateral harm in a tale that swallowed his identity whole. For years, his pain was genuine, his grievances valid, the trauma of losing his mother, the pressure of royal existence, the mental health conflicts he openly shared. But somewhere along the line, all that truth got hijacked. His narrative, once raw and personal, has been contorted into disdain. Now, Harry isn't the voice of his own struggle. He's a character in someone else's brand. And it's dawning on him far too late that he's lost control of his own narrative. The authenticity that once attracted people to him has been repackaged, refined, and weaponized, leaving him stranded between who he was and who he's been transformed into. And what's left behind? A cautionary tale. A narrative of wild ambition, unanchored by fealty, fame without foundation, power without principle. One former media strategist, who once worked closely with Meghan, summed it up perfectly with ruthless clarity. Meghan thought the universe would chase her when she exited the palace. Instead, the world watched and then walked away. She aspired to be a global icon on her own terms. She desired the glamour of royalty without the restrictions, the power of the platform without the price of duty. But the reality is finally hitting forcefully. In life, and especially in aristocracy, you can't have it both directions. You can't tear down an institution for years and then expect it to save you when the tide reverses. You can't burn bridges and presume they'll miraculously rebuild themselves when you're desperate to cross back over. Dubai wasn't just another poor headline. It was a decision, and that verdict rang loud and obvious. Meghan Markle is on her own now, absolutely, irreversibly, permanently. This moment signifies the point of no return. The palace has spoken. The globe has watched. And the sympathy, well, has finally run empty. The woman who once commanded global fascination now confronts silence from every side. No regal financing, no Hollywood safety net, and no one left to spin the story her way. But the biggest concern still hangs in the air. What about Harry? Will he remain locked in that seclusion with her, standing by her side, even as the walls close in? Or will this recent humiliation eventually shake him awake? Maybe he'll see that the freedom he thought he was fighting for has steadily transformed into the very cage he can't escape. Only time will tell whether he obtains the courage to walk out of the storm, or whether he'll remain there drenched and shivering, attempting to convince himself this is the existence he chose. So, what do you think occurs next? Can Meghan recover back from this spectacular crash? Will Harry eventually break free? Or are we just viewing the commencement of an even darker chapter in their story? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't neglect to like, subscribe, share, and let us know what you believe.